What's up, guys? Welcome to another day of the SSL. I'm Tasteless, and with me is GTR. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. We've had some excellent games in Pro League. We had an awesome set of games in GSL yesterday, and hopefully today with Winners Bracket Round 2, we should continue on that trend of excellent games so far.
Yeah, we're on quite a streak. This has been a very good week for Starcraft, too. I'm having a lot of fun. I've been casting every day. I'll be casting again tomorrow here. Well, not here at GSL. Today, we're going to have two best of fives. It's in the winners bracket. And I'm excited. We're going to start off with RagnaroK against ByuN. Any thoughts on that? I'm
really curious to see how RagnaroK approaches this game, because ByuN has been around everywhere, basically. He was in IM, Taipei for IM, rather. And then yesterday, he just played Curious and Code A, where he lost 3-2. And for RagnaroK, that is a lot of data he can work with.
That's actually a good
VOD
point, yeah.
research. So I'm pretty sure that RagnaroK and his coaching staff, Sky High and Orion, for sure they've had to implement some sort of plan for how ByuN plays.
Yeah, you know, the more you're doing well in tournaments, the more exposure there is for the strategies you're going to be using. And I think you make an excellent point, GTR. Certainly, with the data that's out there, him and his team can engineer some strategies that could crush ByuN. However, I would say that I think ByuN is a different player than most of the players that we've casted before. He is somebody who has a lot of stamina. He tends to win not generally by his overarching strategies, it's more by his tenacity, his ability to stay alive, keep microing, keep fighting, keep multitasking, and eventually, you know, he overcomes them. So it'll be interesting. RagnaroK, he's very good. A little bit on the cheesy side as of late.
Yeah, as we saw in Pro League, he tried to do that that drop link build against Billowy, I believe it was, on Ruins of Ceres, and that didn't really work out well for him. But he did take an innovation in the previous round of the winners bracket, so that's nothing to scoff about. But yeah, as you mentioned before, ByuN, he really likes those scrappy games where it's very close, it's not very economic-based fights, not fights,
yeah, he doesn't want to take it into the late game. I mean, he's got a point in time on that in-game timer where he's saying, okay, I'm going to end this. My strategy works. I have time to catch a movie after the tournament. Anyways, closer look here at our first player. It's going to be RagnaroK.
Yeah, so we see
I believe this guy won the Hong Kong esports tournament that I casted.
I think that might have been Hurricane.
Was that Hurricane?
I think
no. I think that was there was one I wasn't at that I think he won.
Okay.
But honestly, I've casted so much Starcraft in my life that believe it or not, it does all kind of blend together.
5-6 years, it kind of extrapolates to a lot of games.
Actually, you know how long I've been casting overall? Can you guess?
9 years?
No,
10 years.
Longer.
11 years.
11 years.
Yeah, that's a lot of games that you've casted.
That's a lot of games, man. That's a lot. Although I've been more intensive casting in probably about the last five and a half or so. ByuN, our Terran player here, super excited to see this guy back and in good form. Not on any major team here.
No, he's on X Team, which is Chinese-based team.
Yes.
And
no disrespect to X Team, but I mean, when I talk about major teams, I'm talking about like...
It's not an AG or
anything we'd see in Pro League, for instance. So.
ByuN has come back. Everyone in the community here, outside of Korea, the foreign community, basically joke about how he's in Kesper jail because no one has seen him for such a long time, but now he's come back. He's impressing everyone in Legacy of the Void, and I'm actually favoring him to win this series over RagnaroK, just judging on his performances so far in Code A and IM Taipei.
Yeah, big boost for him. Even though he did not win it, he got second place. I mean, losing to SOS is frankly an honor, especially in a finals.
로더라는 것 자체가 한번 떨어지면 끝이기 때문에 이번에 꼭 결승에 가서 우승했으면 좋겠어. 다른 로더보다 전략이나 준비성이 뛰어나기 때문에 대충 연습하고 온다면은 한 세트도 못하고 제일 것 같아.
솔직히 신인범 선수는 온라인에서 저한테 6판에서 6판 다 지셨거든요. 별거 아닌 것 같아요. 온라인에서만 잘한다고 하셨는데 저도 그건 동의하고 온라인에서 제가 이겼으니까 오프라인에서도 이겨드리겠습니다.
Interesting to see that video there. RagnaroK was basically saying that he wants the Royal Road for this season in the SSL. Meanwhile, for ByuN, he did say that he wanted to transform his performances in online cups to his offline performances, because that's where all the money is these days. So it's really interesting seeing how they're going to approach this series.
Yeah. By the way, guys, tell your friends to tune in and join us here at the SSL. We're on Ding It as well as YouTube. I know that we haven't had as many people coming in here initially, but I think as time passes, we're going to have more and more viewers join us. This is a great tournament. Easily, along with GSL, these are the two highest tier tournaments that are going to be going on throughout the year.
Especially considering what's happening so far with WCS. We've got all these really good players here in Korea, focusing on GSL and SSL individual league-wise. And if they're on a Casper team, they've also got to contend with Pro League as well.
Yeah, that's true. So we're going to be going into this in just a little bit. I know if you guys have been following us on Pro League, we've been casting. It's a best of 5, but with different players, right? This is going to be a best of 5 where the players have more time to prepare for each other, more time to download each other mentally, strategically. And we've already seen, just like in GSL yesterday, moments like with RagnaroK. RagnaroK losing the first 2 games, Jaedong looks unstoppable. And then by game 3, things start to change, and by the very last game, RagnaroK actually crushes Jaedong. Certainly could see the same going on over here. This tournament, SSL, it's an incredibly unforgiving tournament. It's not like we have groups like GSL where players can kind of, maybe they fudge some games here, but they can still move on over here. You get knocked down to the loser's bracket, and the loser's bracket is brutal. In a lot of ways, it's much more threatening than even being in the winner's bracket. So these guys, they want to survive. They want to move on. We'll see if they manage to do that here.
Yeah, I mean, double elimination bracket is the tried and tested tournament format
it's old
in
school.
esports. So,
yeah.
Of all time. So it might be new to some of these players playing in the SSL, but it's really simple. It's basically you lose 2 series twice and you're out. And saying that, much more different preparation than, say, the GSL, where you have that group to worry about.
Yeah, you've got a variety of races. In some sense, maybe it's fair, but it's just interesting to see how different players can approach different formats.
As we see here, the first match will be RagnaroK Crest. ByuN against RagnaroK. ByuN against RagnaroK here. Starcraft 2 Star League 2016 Season 1. Let's get into the game.
All right, we're on. Let's do this. Down here in the bottom left in the red, RagnaroK. And in the upper right in the blue, old school Terran, he is ByuN.
ByuN, Bleach, Jaedong, Excrement, whatever Ghost King, whatever you want to call ByuN.
Oh, let's just call him ByuN. I've had enough with his other IDs. It makes me crazy when they change their IDs too much.
Regardless of his ID, he is a pretty solid player in Legacy of the Void. And cross spawns and RagnaroK Crest, we've seen this a lot so far this week. As Tasteless has to adjust that monitor.
Yeah, I'm adjusting our monitor a little bit. All right, that's good. I can see it now.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little bit tilted there.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the builds, but what both races are doing here. These are the builds we've seen a lot of here in Legacy of the Void. RTS games, when they're new, and Legacy, I would still consider it, even for the next maybe 5 months or so, it's still pretty fresh, right? We're going to see a lot of new strategies and watch the meat and bones of the meta form here. This seems to be the direction that everybody's saying is the safe play. You start tech, or at least spark that, and then expand into that while developing your economy. Whenever you have a new RTS game, it's super common that all the builds that are working are aggro builds. I don't know if you remember the very early heydays of the GSL.
5 Racks Reaper.
5 Racks Reaper, or we had this period when the Marauder, Marine Marauder was popular.
Like
even
proxy,
Nada is like stimming and trying to run up the ramp, hoping that they missed the force field. I didn't know that would be a thing then, but as time passed, it became more and more refined, more and more turtley. And initially when Legacy of the Void came out, we did see a lot of crazy cheeses and a lot of all-ins, and now we're finally at the point where things have calmed down a little bit. By the way, nice kill there on that drone.
Yeah, as you said, We also have to take into factor the map pool as well. Obviously this season we'll be keeping with the current map pool that we have in the ladder right now, but once next season comes we'll definitely have a new map pool. And StarCraft is one of those games, both StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, where you can arguably say the balance of the game is dictated by the maps that are being released on the ladder.
Yeah, that's very true. I think the maps we have now for these tournaments, I'm pretty pleased with them. I've definitely casted some seasons where I wasn't thrilled with the maps. But I think what we've got now, we've got some good 4-player maps, we've got some good big maps, we've got some smaller maps, we've got some weird maps.
It's good variety.
Yeah, excuse me, yeah, I mean, we've got quite a good variety of maps, which I think is rewarding to a variety of play styles.
For sure, as we see here, nothing really dramatic so far from both players. Actually, ByuN's getting that early medevac, so we might see some harassment here with the medevac and his Marines that he's building right now as he tries to get to his Reaper to see what RagnaroK's doing right now.
Okay, good job. Does take out that Reaper. A little bit of questionable move there, I think, from ByuN. He should have known that Link speed was done. I'm not sure what the function of that was.
I felt like he should have just went in from a different angle, maybe.
I don't even know if he should have. Yeah, I mean, possibly. It was kind of an odd move because you know he's going to take abuse from the Queen as he runs by. Again, this build we're seeing here, this is typical, but it does branch out into a different variety of techniques that the player can employ after the initial medevacs out. We've seen players go straight into Liberators, which we're seeing here. We've seen games where players actually continue to make medevacs, continue to drop, continue to harass. In this case, ByuN doing a very conservative build, dropping here, actually right next to that Spore, but RagnaroK not moving his drones, and these Marines in a fantastic position.
Really love this drop positioning here from ByuN. Dropping it so that Spore Crawler can't actually hit that medevac, so he's also hiding behind that Roach Runner as well. So if RagnaroK tried to surround that army, that Roach Runner would be in the way, and as a result, ByuN does some damage. 7 drones. That Widowmine is, I believe it's dead, but it did damage.
It did take, yeah, it was picked off there, and yeah, definitely taking advantage of the position of the structures, so that your Marines have a better angle. They have cover there. The Liberator is going to come in now. It's going to go behind the minerals, or not. It's going to go right over here, but this is fine. I mean, if he can get some drones. So far with RagnaroK, he does not seem to be that quick at moving his drones. All the way from the start of this game with the Reaper to the latter part of this game with that Liberator. He's definitely lost a few workers here.
Yeah, loving the play here from ByuN so far. Actually knowing that Spore Crawler. Oh, nice roast file there.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. I think the Liberator is one of the units that requires more babysitting than pretty much anything else in the game. This drop over here a bit futile.
Oh, that's really close there from the medevac. The Queen nearly got it. It's at 4 HP, but gets away, and another medevac.
An empty medevac. Though, so I think this is a rally point error. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Because that actually, even though it's not going to end the game for ByuN, it does indicate to RagnaroK whether or not he's sticking with Liberators or making medevacs.
Yeah, seeing that medevac just fly there randomly. Bad rally point there from ByuN. RagnaroK can easily adjust his lava to whatever he sees right now from ByuN. As we see, double upgrades from ByuN, Stim Pack as well. From RagnaroK, we do have that Speed Roach, I don't know how to say it, as well as the range upgrades. Speedy Roaches, and the range and arm upgrades for those ground units from RagnaroK. And he's also getting that Infestation hit, so we might see Infestors as well that we've seen lately in TVZ.
Yes. As the game goes on, Stim and 1-1 is coming here. This is matched here by the 1-1 for Zerg. I would say that there isn't really any player in the clear lead so far. We will see if there's going to be a timing attack coming up here for Zerg. A lot of times when Terran does take the third base, we've seen this regardless of what race Zerg's against. They do like their timings with Roach, Ravager, Link.
As we see, a couple of medevacs are out on the map for ByuN. We'll also see where he wants to drop those. He definitely wants to get some drone kills here as he drops this medevac here, or has to pick up though. That Spore Crawler is actually doing a lot of damage to that medevac. And we see another medevac here at the 6 o'clock for ByuN. I think at this point though, he should be trying to clear some creep tumors because it's really important to stop that creep spread on this map.
Yeah, absolutely. We see the Marines now coming down here, stimming and taking out this hatchery. Nice play there by ByuN. Coming in here, getting as much creep as you were saying, GTR. I want to clear up that creep as much as possible. He's continuing to center step micro back, picks up and gets out. Mission accomplished there by ByuN.
And with that drop from ByuN, he's able to clear some creep, put on some pressure onto RagnaroK, and his third base is now up and running. He's not really getting, he's getting those SFVs saturated there at the base, as ByuN's doing a really good job here, keeping RagnaroK at his feet.
Yeah, we have the drop coming down now. He's going to keep this on the edge here, see if he can't push. And speaking of pushing, you know, with the 2 drops on either side of the map, he could allow these drops to then merge up in the center with the larger push that's coming up here. I got to say, ByuN, he's winning a lot of battles, and this is indicative of what ByuN has always done to win his matches. He just wins so many small fights, similar to Gumiho, but I'd say in almost a cleaner fashion than Gumiho. This is ByuN playing the game he wants to play and winning on his own terms, at least so far.
As we see here, another drop at the third base of RagnaroK by ByuN, but that medevac's actually going to die. Oh no, the Queen actually firing onto the Marines once that drop came. So it looks like he's a push from ByuN with these tanky vacs as well, so we'll see how much damage this will do.
Yeah, he's sieging up now. Now, Zerg has got a pretty insanely large army here. However, the angles, at least so far, not favorable. But I think this is definitely the right way to come in. He's bungling now. Ling's getting good surface area around on the tanks. The Marines in the back, unable to help. He's picking up. And completely denied here is ByuN as he retreats back home.
Nice round there from RagnaroK, using the space that ByuN gave him around that army. But these tanks are doing a lot of damage, and as long as he keeps these tanks alive, he will be able to stay in the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, if he keeps losing his big army like this, I'm not sure if he will. He's actually pushing at a deficit here. It's 150 to 137. The tech here for Zerg is quite good, and the 4th base has not been denied, really. So I think actually ByuN might be in some trouble. Oh man, and speaking of which, one easy way to know if a Terran player is losing is by how many tanks they're losing at a time. I mean, you look at roaches, right? Those are quite expendable. But tanks, on the other hand, not so much. And I think with Zerg already entering into the Ultralist tech here and able to easily secure the 4th base, this is a really bad situation here for ByuN.
As long as RagnaroK gets that 4th base, he'll be in quite a comfortable lead as long as he keeps that secured. He does have those infestors out for the fungal growth, along with those ravages for the corrosive bile. And we see Ultralists are coming out for RagnaroK, but you can't really keep a consistent production of those Ultralists if you can't secure that 4th gas.
Okay, he's going to come down here. This is the moment that ByuN needs to seize here. He needs to take out. He does. Beautifully done. Okay, ByuN with that expansion being picked off. That, you know, now, why is this important? Okay, because there are so many, there's so much gas that's required to stay on an Ultralist tech. And denying one of those hatcheries really shuts out the ability to make Ultralists as effectively.
Yeah, poor control there from ByuN though. Tries to shut down that 9 o'clock expansion that RagnaroK is building, but corrosive biles and unattentive attention on that medevac and Marines allows that army to die, as looks like RagnaroK's actually not focusing on that 6 o'clock base right now. It looks like he's trying to focus resecuring that 9 o'clock base and getting those Ultralists out.
As you can see here, he's coming out now. Zerg has actually shifted gears. He's going to be expanding here on the left side of the map. Easily, same level of difficulty, I should say, for pushing this. ByuN with the 150 supply right here, that's going to make this a little bit tricky for a maxed out Zerg right now. But let's see. I mean, if ByuN's control is good enough, maybe he can do something.
Yeah, nice multitasking here from ByuN, trying to actually do some damage with those medevac drops with the Marines. He's going to get this expansion for sure. But really nice multitasking here by RagnaroK, just trying to handle all these multiple drops at the same time. Nice blinding cloud as well, but let's see if that hatchery dies. It's really low. It's like really low. It's 20, 19, 12, 13. It doesn't go down. Really good play there from RagnaroK, trying to keep that alive, and he does successfully. But there's a medevac down here. He might try and snipe it with this drop.
I gotta say, man, that blinding cloud saved his ass. Shooting that down there gave him some time where the Terran had to move those Marines. But hold up, I'll get to that in a minute. We have a huge attack coming up here. Ghosts using snipe on the Ultralisks, continuing to move up the ramp right now. And I don't know, ByuN might just be in a lot of trouble. Not only is he hitting this base right here, but he's cutting off the ability for ByuN to defend this expansion at the top center, the other expansion in the upper right.
There's a lot of ghosts out here for ByuN, but where are the Marines? Where are the tanks? Not really sure where they are. And
I believe they all disappeared in the battles throughout the pushes in this game, man. I think ByuN overextended too much.
Yeah, it seems like all those units got thrown to Casper Jail there, but really nice attack there from RagnaroK. Forces a lift up on that expansion, which is actually nearly mined out, so it's quite useless right now. Kills that 12 o'clock expansion of ByuN as well, and with this 4th gas of RagnaroK, he's going to snipe. ByuN's going to snipe this hatchery, but I think it's too little, too late.
No. Yeah. I mean, RagnaroK has to be pretty careful, right? Because you know, a millisecond of lack of attention there at that hatchery, and ByuN will take it out, and that will definitely reduce the amount of gas that's going to be mined here by RagnaroK. And of course, he needs that for, you know, the Ravagers, the Ultralists, the Infestors.
I really like this unit composition here from RagnaroK. A mistake that a lot of Zergs have done the past few days, as we've seen here in Korea, is that they build a lot of Ultralists and Ravagers, but they don't have those Zerglings to add that extra damage. And when you're chasing an army of a Terran, you need those Zerglings to help surround. And in this case, by RagnaroK, he does have that bulk supply of Zerglings to help with the damage.
He's continuing to fly around the map here. Low base numbers here for RagnaroK, but he's definitely got the muscle. I think ByuN, if we had to do an autopsy on this game, because I think he might be losing, we'll see if I'm right on that, but if we had to do an autopsy on it, I think we can address the fact that ByuN was just dropping too much and not actually paying for itself.
So seeing here, ace around by the Zerglings, actually trying to get into the up the ramp of ByuN, but RagnaroK actually defends that. These ghosts actually do a really nice job of defending, actually, and really surprised how ByuN's handled this so far.
I think this is probably the way that he should have taken this game. See the Liberators? The fact that Zerg doesn't have Mutalisks means the Liberators are probably going to be more effective than some of these medevac drops we've already seen here throughout this game. The Marines have stimmed now. Looks like he's going to try. Oh, no, he's going to back up. But this is the play that might be able to get ByuN some more footing here. If he could just keep microing these Liberators correctly and just keep killing off drones, he might have a shot of coming back.
Yeah, for sure, as these Liberators are actually doing a ton of damage, actually. 12, 13 drone kills, but one Corruptor's out to take care of that Liberator. As I want to say it did a lot of damage, but it might be at the point where it might be too little for ByuN right now, because RagnaroK still has that bulk army, and he can just keep control of the map, and ByuN can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, GTR. I mean, I look at the situation, and even though I see RagnaroK taking a lot of damage here from ByuN's harass, I'm trying to figure out how on earth Terran's going to be able to push out on the map. I mean, we already know that Zerg's going into this supreme late game tech. And will ByuN have enough of an army to push out in that amount of time before it almost becomes unpushable? Right now, though, supplies pretty even. Let's see what ByuN can do.
Great spy here from RagnaroK. He might be thinking of going for some Broodlords up with those Corruptors being out on the map as well. So let's see how ByuN will approach this base at the 9 o'clock position and how RagnaroK's going to respond to this.
Wow, I can't believe that didn't hit that. I thought for sure that was going to connect with that. He's pushing down here from the top center to the center left. However, I think Broodlords are going to have a really good time against this. I think he's going to be able to take advantage of this middle platform over here and use that to make the Marines and Ghosts have a harder time getting close to the Broodlords. Let's see what ByuN does.
Yeah, he's actually got a nice position here at the ramp. A lot of snipes there on the Ghosts by ByuN, but oh, nice fungal growth there. So many Ghosts go down, and this might be the end for ByuN because these Broodlords were out and he has no anti-air to deal with this.
The interesting game we've seen so far here. I think RagnaroK might have overextended a little bit with the Ultras. I don't know if there was really a requirement for him to attack in like that. But you're right, he doesn't really have the anti-air. We don't see Liberators or Vikings or anything that can directly address this problem, so you have to get underneath the Broodlords to kill them off. And the problem with that is that there are Ultralisks in this game, and definitely something you don't want to be sitting next to is going to be Ultras. At the same time, though, we do see ByuN actually attacking into the bottom and taking out that expansion. So that's one small victory there for ByuN.
Yeah, these Widow Mines are doing quite a bit of damage to the army of RagnaroK, but we see these Broodlord Infestors just marching through, Ravagers as well. Am I watching Music of Liberty here? Broodlord Infestor?
Yeah, well, this is, I think, the direction. Artosis has talked about this as well. And he also thinks this is the direction that this game should be going in here. This kind of late game tech. I mean, there really is a new role here for Brood Lords, excuse me. Now that they're, oh, hold up. All right, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's any way that ByuN's gonna be able to deal with this. He's been on the run. He's been doing a good job. But this is eventually going to catch up to him.
I think at this point of the game, RagnaroK just has too many of those high-tech units, Broodlord, Infestor, and Ravagers. It's going to be really hard to deal with this, especially when you're running really thin on economy, as that third base is nearly mined out for ByuN.
He's continuing to push forward here. At this point in time, ByuN doesn't have access to any base that he can mine from. So many Broodlords, so many Ravagers coming here and thinning out the army that ByuN has.
RagnaroK might have overextended here.
No, I think he's going to be okay. Yeah, that's going to be a GG.
Yep. Nicely played there from RagnaroK. ByuN couldn't really do anything, even though he shut down that 6 o'clock base. RagnaroK taking that 9 o'clock base in response and able to defend that, get those Ultralisk out, get that Armor Carapace. And even though ByuN had a lot of Ghosts out, he couldn't get those snipes to time. And I think that attack when RagnaroK got into the main base of ByuN and he was stuck there, and those Funkle Roasts were shot out from those Infestors and killed a bulk of ByuN's Ghost army. It's going to be really hard because those Ghosts are quite expensive units.
I think the other story in this game is how many medevac drops do we see that didn't actually do anything?
Quite a few.
Quite a few. And then, you know, you saw when the actual push came, RagnaroK just had a lot more. He just had way more muscle, way more toys to play with on the map. And I think that was ByuN losing, similar to how we've seen Gumiho lose games, where even though he's everywhere and it's pretty impressive that his multitasking is this good, the result is that after all the confusion is said and done,